Today, I'm going to talk about how I achieved C1 level in TEF Canada and TCF Canada in less than 1 year starting from zero. Stay with me until the end because in this video, I'll show exactly what I did to succeed in these exams. And before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe. So, first of all, I need to say something very important. I didn't know a single word of French when I started. This was the first time in my life that I had to learn French, and I did it to obtain permanent residence in Canada. Before learning French, my initial scores were not good enough, and I realized that without French, I wouldn't be eligible for permanent residence through Express Entry Pool for several years. That was a crucial moment for me. So I decided to learn French seriously. Before starting French, I already spoke English, Persian, and Turkish. For both English and Turkish, I reached C1, C2 levels in less than 6 months, so I already knew how to study languages effectively. And when I started learning French, I knew one thing for sure. I needed guidance. I needed a teacher or someone experienced to help me stay on the right path because I knew doing this completely alone is extremely difficult. There are moments during this journey when you lose confidence, when you feel stuck or discouraged, and that's completely normal. But what matters is having the right method, consistency, and support. And that's exactly what I'm going to explain in this video. So I knew that to continue on this path and succeed in TEF Canada and TCF Canada, I needed more than motivation. I needed guidance. I needed a mentor, a teacher who, especially in difficult moments, could support me and remind me that I was capable of achieving my goals. So, the real purpose of having a teacher or a mentor is not just teaching a grammar or vocabulary, it's about pushing you forward when you start doubting yourself. Because there are moments when you lose confidence, when you feel like you can't do it anymore, and that's exactly when you need someone to tell you are capable, you can learn this language. That's why the first thing I did was choose someone to guide me in learning French. And I was very lucky because this person was extremely positive. Every time I struggled, she reminded me that I was capable of learning anything. And honestly, this is why I believe a mentor is more important than just a teacher. There are many teachers who simply explain lessons without truly supporting the learner. But what you really need is a source of energy, someone who believes in you, encourages you, and guides you through difficult moments. So, the first step was choosing the right teacher, someone who could truly support me. The second step was consistency, because without consistency, you cannot achieve any serious goal. Learning French from zero to B2 level is not easy at all. It requires focus, attention, and a huge time investment. That is not something you achieve by clicking on an app or watching a few videos. You need time, consistency, and a very strong mindset. You have to tell yourself for the next 6 months or 1 year, I must stay strong no matter the difficulty. You have to embrace it and continue your path. This is extremely important because if your goal is to reach B2 level in 6 months or 1 year, you need around 1,000 hours of study. In my case, that means studying at least 8 hours a day. And that's how I was able to reach B2 level in less than 6 months. So, another very important point is this. Learning French and preparing for TEF Canada or TCF Canada are two completely different things. The first step is to actually learn the language. You should start preparing for the exams only after that. Very often, I see people who don't really know French yet, but they want to jump straight into exam preparation. Before registering for TEF Canada or TCF Canada, you must already have a solid level of French. So first, you learn French, then once you reach a good level, you prepare especially for the exam. In my case, I believe it's possible to reach B2 level in less than 6 months and sometimes even less than 3 months, but only with extreme focus and intensity. Personally reached B2 in reading and speaking in less than 3 months because I was studying around 10 hours a day. Of course, this pace is not realistic for everyone and it can lead to burnout if you are not careful. That's why a more realistic and healthy goal is to tell yourself in 6 months or 1 year, I will reach B2 level in French. After that, you move on to the second phase, exam preparation. Learning French and preparing for the exam are two different stages, and mixing them too early can slow you down instead of helping you. So, after learning the language, I decided to take the exam. When I took my first exam, my results were CLB6 in listening, 8 in reading and speaking, and 5 in writing. This clearly showed me where my weakness was. My speaking was strong, my listening and reading comprehension were good. However, after 6 months of studying French, my only real problem was writing. That moment was very important for me because instead of feeling discouraged, I understood exactly what I needed to improve. I didn't need to study everything again. I needed to focus especially on writing. So I started to write a lot, especially letters for TEF Canada and TCF Canada. In TEF Canada, there are two sections, and in TCF Canada, there are three. So I focused heavily on this skill. I wrote hundreds of letters. Honestly, over time, it became more than 500 letters and probably close to 1,000 in total. I was writing every single day, sometimes 2 or 3 letters a day, sometimes even more. And at the same time, I read a lot of books and expanded my vocabulary because writing is not only about structure, it's also about words, expressions, and clarity. After months of intense practice, repetition, and correction, I finally reached B9 in writing in both TCF and TEF Canada. It didn't happen overnight, it was the result of hard work, discipline, and consistent practice. But in the end, I achieved my goal, and that's exactly what I'm sharing this journey with you today. I'm sure you are capable of doing the same because it's all about hard work and consistency. I shared my story today to give you hope and remind you that you are capable of achieving your goals. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to learn more about TEF Canada and TCF Canada and how to learn French effectively, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if this video helped you, please like the video. In the coming days, I will explain the format of these exams in more details. So stay tuned. Have a wonderful day. Ciao.